Hey everybody! All right, so I'm here for part 4 of 37. I almost totally forgot about it. I'm packing up for a big trip. I'm trying to drive my family like 14 hours tomorrow. I'm going a little psycho. I'm getting everybody up at like 3 o'clock. I told them 4, but they're not going to know. It's going to be dark anyway. So, and then I'm going to put the kids in there and then get the wife in there, and then I'll be driving for like hopefully, all day until they wake up. But so there's the plan. But I'm going to answer the question about the 3 things I usually work with runners, even though it's not as much on my mind a day after. But let me just dive into that really quick. And then I want to talk about this elbow thing. I know I got a lot of views because I was in pain, I guess. I was getting my stitches taken out. So for future reference, I'm going to show myself in bad situations, maybe getting cut or, after bruising myself up or bleeding. I think that does well for the views. Pain is good, I guess. Got some comments about my wife. If you look at the last episode, she had, or two episodes ago, she had scissors like the size of my face, cutting little stitches out, which is pretty funny. All right, so really quick to go over the few cues, and I'll dive into stuff about running. I mean, it's a big part of my expertise. Work with tons of runners, but working with beginners, some of the focus is on turnover, relaxing the upper body when they're running, and then no horizontal displacement. So 3 really simple cues. So we work on turning our feet over. There are specific numbers that we go for based on steps per minute, and we'll talk about that later on probably in some videos. No wasted energy from left to right, which is pretty common with novice runners and beginners a lot of time, and it's an easy cue. Like if anything's moving left to right, that's an easy fix. And then lastly, just staying relaxed up top. Just realizing that your lower half and your upper half are independent of each other a lot of times, and just letting your upper body relax so that your lower body relax, because they take cues from each other. So those are some cues that I always give. So this was the diagnosis was Septic Olecranon Bursitis. So bursa are sac-like fixtures throughout your body. I think you have over 150 of them, and they secrete, or they possess fluid that allow for smooth movement between ligaments and bones, and tendons and muscle. And apparently this little guy right here got infected, which is the septic part of the diagnosis. The olecranon is just the bony protrusion here on my elbow, and the infection got really bad and nasty, and they had to go in and clean it out. So that's where the scar was. So I've been talking about it a couple times in the last couple shows. So that was the diagnosis. I'm gonna go over 3 minutes. I'm gonna break my first rule. So I'm gonna be like 1 for or 0 for wait, what would it be? 3 for 4 today. So, but I wanted to talk about some of the symptoms. So in case you guys have, me and my friend who's a doctor of chiropractic. She knows a couple people. She had a really bad septic infection from a cut. I have a friend whose dad had a little cut on his arm and actually got staph that went into his bloodstream and attached in his lower spine. So just being careful and keeping cuts clean. I don't know how this came because I didn't really have any big cuts or anything like that. But for this situation specifically, even though it's rare, if your elbow just feels bruised and then the bruise feels more really sensitive to touch, really blows up, you can go look at Septic Olecranon Bursitis. You'll see some nasty. Mine got big, but not like some of these pictures I saw online. But yeah, that sensitivity to touch, really painful. Loss of range of motion. Those are all pretty good signs. So get into the ER or to your doctor really quick if that happens. Okay, so before I go on, I'm going to tell you guys of a really good memory I had with my grandfather, who I'm going to see on this trip a couple years ago when I was in grad school. Yeah, 13 years ago. But the reason I want that to be the question I answer next time is because we had a lot of really good times. I worked for him and learned a lot from him. But I saw this hat right here. This is like Elmer Fudd on crack. So this hat right here, I don't know if he owned this in the military, but it is a military grade hat. And it's a wintertime hat, but my grandfather gave it to me. Look at that thing. So I'm going to finish up with putting on my Papa Ralph's hat. And we'll just finish with that. So next time I'm going to answer and tell you guys about some really good memories I've had with my grandfather. How you like that? Thanks a lot.